Thank you very much. So I warned you in the first half about the serious content of the book, so nice cheery one to start with. I'm a member of Amnesty International, so no surprise that I get some quite gruesome, miserable literature through my door and stuff that I look at on the website. And this was after looking at some of the Amnesty stuff on the internet about the plight of the women in Darfur, and it's called The Sixth Man. The seed of the janjaweed, the blood of Sudan, coursed her legs, pooled in the earth. The first man took her innocence, relieved himself. Then the next, the third, the fourth, the fifth. As her insides gave way, the sixth man came. And the sixth man sang as she bounced off his boot, onto her belly, through the dirt, the pain, legs splintering under a rifle butt. She is Zara, she is 15, she'll never run again. Silent screams do exist, not just the stuff of nightmares. She knew this as he thrust her face to his sweat, his spit. His eyes, one hooded, a genetic defect, made the other look large and red. Dust rises to greet her, limping, incontinent, abandoned. Her body, tight as a drum, beats out the message of time. Her broken frame pushes, proffers a small, black, precious form. She draws to her breast her son. Sees nostrils, tests the air for the smell of freedom. Sees a tiny mouth struggle for the language of love. Sees the twisted vision of the sixth man. The next one was inspired by an edition of Woman's Hour. That shows the sort of age I'm listening to, doesn't it? And this particular one was recorded at the Mother and Baby Unit at Holloway Prison. And they have volunteers there that come and take the babies out to help develop their senses. And one of the places they take them to is the local supermarket, apparently. And there was a woman there on the programme who had conceived her baby in a Mexican jail, but she gave birth at Holloway. And this is Baby B and the Baby Walker. On release day, I will buzz around the bottom shelves at Sainsbury's, see what the outside does for shoes. My wings are clipped. I only see Wednesday from the waist up. Its belt has not been confiscated. I am tasting freedom on my back, as my mother did in the Mexican heat. Queen of the conjugal visit. My father brought her street food, lust, a promise of life in the making. I harvest traffic fumes, supermarket scanners, for my coloured hive with its maternal droning. I'm learning to fly. The sky can be opened with a single key. Honey and seasoning are the hardest things to steal. It's quite interesting to do this next one in the light of Osama bin Laden being shot recently. Because when that happened, I remember thinking, well, just well that didn't happen just before the royal wedding, otherwise London would have gone into complete lockdown. And also I remember somebody saying to me that the day after the shooting took place that they thought about not using the tube that day. They were nervous about using the tube that day. So this is actually called Rat. And the other thing that sort of encouraged the title was the expression which some of you might be familiar with, that in London you are never more than 3 feet away from a rat. In London, you are never more than 3 feet away from a dark-skinned young man under suspicion. Innumerable station tableau, flat-jacketed constables peruse lunchboxes. Gawky students offload law books onto the concourse to be scrutinised and deemed benign. Who tampered with the taxonomy of the rat, which, awaiting absolution for a medieval plague, feeds our fears, lives upon our waste? As I returned from school, a warfarin sedated rodent rescued from the road was in need of attention. I rushed into Mrs. Cheatham's kitchen hair salon. Rollers rolled. Scissors and woman's owns followed in the wake of fearful housewives. No more luck at home. I lay my precious charge in the hedge. My brother flattened it with a slab of granite. Mum put the kettle on. Dad held the corpse towards the lane. Altruists who have marched on Whitehall. Observe a commuter discard his holy book to access a ticket from his rucksack. They break into a sweat and shuffle towards the nearest exit, proffering their bloody children. The women of Gaza and Helmand are spectres between glossy pages. Heads are buried in the sandy depths of a yummy mummy's plastic breasts. In the foreign news, brothers say notional vermin. Fathers tender ghosts to the elements, wash fear from off their workmen's hands, and sit calmly, taking tea. So I'm trying to do something a little bit lighter, I think. This poem is in the book. It's about a party that took place a while ago now at my father's house in Cornwall. My father, up to very recently, sang in a male voice choir, though he's just retired from the choir. And yeah, this is what it's about. And it's called Time for Song. I'm in the kitchen with my father. He has his arm around my shoulder. We are singing our hearts out. I never knew you liked to sing, he says. Where were you all those speech days I was in the choir? Too busy, always. Now you've time on your hands. Time for reflection. Time for song. Bread of heaven, feed me now and nevermore. Next door, someone is playing the drums. As this party comes to an end, we proclaim we have not finished. We are very loud indeed. 2-generation Celts sing old songs, Cornish songs, when fish and tin were as plentiful as the time on your hands. Time for reflection, time for song. And shall Trelawney live, and shall Trelawney die? His 20,000 Cornishmen will know the reason why. There is red wine on my white shoes. Someone says it won't come out. We shout for a song sheet proclaiming we are not English. We are very drunk indeed. 2-generation Celts, filling glasses, filling ashtrays, filling bins, never quite fulfilling dreams. Time reflecting our swan song. I love the white rose in its splendour. I love the white rose in its bloom. I love the white rose, so fair as it grows. It's the rose that reminds me of you. I'm in the kitchen with my father. He has my arm around his shoulder. We are singing our hearts out. Yes, yes, it's in the book.
I thought you said it wasn't.
No, it is. It is. Okay, right, back to the death and despondency. This is about my other brother. They're both dead. But this one died many, many years ago in a childhood road accident. He was actually in a coma all over Christmas, so his presents remained unwrapped. And I bought him an Airfix model of the Bismarck, and so that also remained unwrapped. And for some reason in my late teens I decided to unwrap it and put it together, building the Bismarck. Years after you'd combed through Christmas, I recommissioned the Bismarck. Sealed bags of injection moulding, unwrapped, constructed, painted with acrylic, made you a fixed point on the horizon, as everlasting as war and plastic. Recall had faded with the reindeer, who finally gave up hope of childish fingers, as you were reduced to a badly cut fringe in a school photograph. They guarded the box. It wasn't you everyone talked about, but who you would have been. Would you have outshone younger siblings, been welcomed into your sister's ordered domesticity, saved your brother from his dark side, or joined me, one earthly orbit ahead of you, seeking reason in rhyme, raising a glass to everything? An enemy craft was my final gift. In bloodlines, on battle lines, we are all people just the same. Your history, air-fixed, more tangible than sharing grainy photographs and blame. Right, this is a little poem that I know one particular person in the rowdy corner over there quite likes. I hasten to add it's not about him in any way, it just happens to like it. And it's called Express Sex, and that probably gives you an idea of the sort of people I work with. Express Sex. Thinking of you once while on a train, I came. Without the aid of touch or stroke, just thought I wouldn't dare to tell you what. I never dreamt it possible, then wondered if that man behind his Daily Mail had spied a tremor, slight rolling of the eyes. The toilet reached by high-speed lurch, keen to inspect my trousered crotch and check for telltale signs of wet. Then back along the aisle, composed, retake my seat and sip my coffee, smiling, still slightly out of breath. Okay, I'm going to do two more, and for the next one I need to take my earrings out, that'll all become a moment. About 13 years ago, South Crofty, the last Cornish tin mine, closed down. And shortly afterwards, as a 40th birthday present, I've given these earrings, and they're made of some of the last tin to come out of that mine. Small velvet box. Proffers a pair to hang from lobes, resurrecting buried sounds, fathoms down. 3 centuries worth of Cornish life, wood surface, in dirty water, drowned. The miners, treasured, cousin Jacks. From Spain, New Zealand, Norway to the Cape, their skills were coveted, unmatched. South Crofty, outliving suffering siblings, rode the slump. The bitter pill, disproven remedy, joined them, silenced the pump. We break this thought, to raise a glass, celebrate, mark the day I pushed red-faced from wet and dark, gave my first Celtic whoop. This gift, turned in the palm, produces song, an elegy, a Wesleyan hymn. Its frame, a manicure that pens of maidens on the dressing floor, sifting, bringing a hammer down. My path, less worn, a well-schooled journey, post-learning liberty, though warned of peppered shafts long overgrown. enter my body. Father and son turned rivers red with sweated toil. This painful beauty last crofty tea through small and bloodless holes. I'm just going to do one more to finish off with, and this is not in the book, and I need my glasses for it because it's in very small print. One of the rare occasions you'll ever see me pick up a Bible, I think. Some of you will know the theatre piece that I've got called Shop Girl, which is all about my life working at Peter Jones. And this is the poem that finishes off the piece, and it's also called Shop Girl. In the beginning, God created retail. The carrier bags were without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the King's Road. And God saw the light, that it was good, and called the light designer, and the darkness ready to wear. And the evening and the morning were the first spring collection. And God made Dolce & Gabbana to rule the day, and the lesser light Topshop to rule the night. And God said, let us make the upper class in our image. Let them have dominion over the nouveau riche, over the shoppers at Next, over the foul Marks and Spencer, and all things that creepeth from TK Maxx. And God said, it is not good that they shop alone. I will make them a helpmeet. And the Lord God caused a great sleep to fall upon them, and he took one of their old aquascutums and sewed up the tears thereof, which was good. And made he shop girl, shop girl, shop girl, never knowingly understood. I just want to say a few thank yous, but you know what? Before I do that, I haven't had a bloody drink of lean. I'm just going to pour myself down. I've got a list just to make sure. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you very much. I just want to say a few thank yous.
You're a man to do this.
Before you say the thank yous, Katrina has got to go to run.
Oh, no. Then I have to thank Katrina before she runs out the door for her wonderful. Thank you. Right, I really want to thank Agnes Morganside Press for having the faith in me to put this book together. As you've heard from her this evening, not only she's a fine poet, but she does some fabulous work in the world of poetry, and she's also a very, very dear friend. Obviously, I had to say thank you to Katrina as she's gone out the door there. She's a very new friend, but I'm a huge admirer of her work. I think she's fabulous.
Does she live in Margate, by the way?
She doesn't live. Does she live in Margate?
Not now. She
comes from Margate, doesn't
because
she?
we went up there recently, and you know, in Westgate. I thought, oh yes, sorry. Carry on. Yes. There we go.
Very, very interesting.
Not moving there. There we go.
That's a special needs corner.
Westfield.
No, that's a special needs corner.
I went to Margate once. It was fine. Yes. Anybody else?
Yes.
Thank you.
Who's in Margate? Hands up! Margate, come on, hands up! Admit to see me the Margate. Right.
Thank you very much.
Right, round of applause, Margate! Yay! Margate!
So Katrina wasn't able to see that, really.
Right.
Anyway, moving on. Patrick, quiet. Patrick, Kinane and myself have worked together for more years than we probably care to remember, and I've done. And he's been hugely supportive of my work, and I do a lot of stuff with him through his organisation, Dodo Modern Poets. And if you go onto my new website, which is now you'll find a direct link to Patrick's website, Dodo Modern Poet website as well, so that you can see what he's up to. Also, thank you to another fine dodo modern poet, Mr. Pete Murray over there. Hasn't been reading poetry tonight, but has been kind enough to film the event. So I hope you got some of this rabble to go on YouTube. And, so thank you to him as well. And on the subject of the website, thank you very much to Eugene for putting my website together and for doing the fabulous cover photographs. Unfortunately, Maxine, the lovely cover girl, wasn't able to be here this evening because she's unwell. And finally, I just want to thank all my lovely friends for turning up here this evening. Some of you have never been to one of my readings before, some of you have been to virtually everything I've ever done. And you know, your support is just precious, really, really precious. And thank you very much.